Okay, looks like we're recording. What we're going to do is we are going to figure out how to code our cards. And we're going to use a blue highlighter, and we're going to use a green highlighter, or markers, okay? Or colored pencils, or crayons. It doesn't matter. But we're going to stick with blue, and we're going to stick with green. Now, when we think about coding, we have to think about what we know about the 1, 2, 3, 1 system that we're using to write or think about our writing. The 2s are major points that we want to make in our paper. The person who makes the decision about what is a major or a key point is you. What I decide to be a key point of information is going to be different than what Jake decides or Severa decides or Alec decides. So the decisions are made completely and solely by you. We can help you, but we can't tell you. The green coding is going to be anything that are details or provide evidence or support to back up what you decided was a major point that you were trying to make. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our notes, our note cards, and we're going to code them. So this is Amelia's card. These are the facts that she has chosen about her topic, and her topic is Amelia Earhart?
Yes.
Amelia Earhart. So this involves some very concentrated thinking. And what I mean by concentrated thinking is you have to actually read the information you wrote, and you have to make a decision on every single point that you wrote down. It does not matter if you wrote phrases, sentences, or just notes. You still have to decide. Is this the type of information that's going to be part of one of the points I'm trying to make? Blue. Or is this the type of information that's going to support or provide evidence for some point I'm trying to make? Does everybody understand what I'm saying at this point? Yes? This is a step in the process of writing research. Step number 1 was to organize our note cards by writing the specific headings on them. Step number 2 was to actually do the research, read the information, and take notes. This is step number 3. We're going to code our cards now to help us write our paper. It's important that you understand that it's not about what you write that we're learning here. It's about how we create a research paper. That's why the topic was kind of fun. But you may go into a science class, or you may go into a social studies class, or chemistry, or music, or art, and the teacher or the professor are going to say to you, I need a research paper on this topic. And then the content is going to become very important, because they're not going to teach you the steps or the process. That's what we're learning today. Okay? All right, so the way you go about that is you have your 2 colors, and understand this. You're probably going to have a lot more green than you have blue. In other words, you might want to make 4 or 5 major points, but you might have 10, 12, 13 dots of evidence or support or details to back those points up. That should make some sense to you. Do you have more details about what you're saying than actual points that you're making? Does that make sense to you? Okay. So don't be surprised if you have a lot more green than you have blue, or you have a lot more number 3 than you have number 2 type sentences. Okay? You with me so far? Mm-hmm. Okay. Something else I was going to say, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to start with this card, and I'm going to read this information, and it says, in 2004, scientists failed to find any bones of them. Now, it's okay that I don't know what this information is referencing to. Amelia knows. It's her cards, and she knows. So, Amelia, is this a major point you're trying to make, or is it just some details about some other point that you might make later?
There's some detail.
All right, so I'm going to take my green, and I'm going to put a little green dot by it. Okay, you can't see that very well, but it's there. The next point that she's got listed here is listening to the Tokyo Rose tape recording, they proved that they did not recognize her voice. What do you think, Amelia? Is that a detail, or is that kind of a big point you want to make in your facts?
I think it's a bigger point.
Okay, so we're going to mark that one a blue. We're going to code that a blue. Next one. She was the first woman to cross the Atlantic by air. We're talking about Amelia Earhart here. Is that a point you're trying to make, or is that a detail about another point? She was the first woman to cross the Atlantic by air.
I think it's a detail.
Okay, it's going to go with something else you're going to write about. Okay. Her navigator was Fred Noonan. Is that a point you're trying to make, or a detail? Okay, so what I've got here is I've got green, blue, green, green, because it's hard for you guys to see the colors. Now, I might have decided to make this green a blue. Would I be wrong? No. Does that make Amelia wrong? No. It's her paper. She can write the information however she wants. So other people might code this differently. So you can't code this incorrectly. The only way you can code it incorrectly is if you color. Color means you're not reading your sentences and making a decision. You're just putting colored dots on the paper. Do you guys understand the difference? So you have to actually go through every single sentence and you have to ask yourself the question, is this a point I'm trying to make, or is this a detail? Now, one thing that for sure will always be green, and I don't know if Amelia has one here, but how many of you copied a direct quote from something and you put it in quotation marks? Did anybody do that?
I know they do that.
Okay. Anything that is in quotation marks that you copied directly, and we're going to cite that source, has to be a green because it's evidence. We're using evidence from the articles that we research, direct evidence, direct quotes. That's always going to be a green. Otherwise, the choices and the decision is completely yours. So honest coding. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording.